This is Fam Electric Ghost, and we're live on the air with Asia Emmanuel for the first time. Welcome to the Fam Electric Ghost podcast. How you doing?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, it's fun to talk to people, creative people. We've been on the air since 2016, talking to people live, and we like to have people tell their story about their vision or what they do. And you happen to be the vice president of strategic growth at Art+Logic, and that's your well-respected custom software firm. We're going to talk today about BKE Tech, which is an award-winning music tech company. If you've worked with Bob Ezrin, who's worked with Pink Floyd, Kiss, and Alice Cooper, and Dallas Austin, who's worked with TLC, Boyz II Men, Michael Jackson. You've got a bunch of cool tools to the intersection of music and tech. So I'm a big synth head. I got all my Rolands and Moogs behind me. So yeah, nice. I think we'll have a cool conversation about music tech. So
yeah, I got a Roland. I love that thing. It's got a really good it's got a great digital presence, but it's still got all the analog controls and all the analog, but it's got a really nice interface for synth programming. So yeah, I'm a gearhead, man. You know what I mean? Like
that's cool, because I'm really into a lot of I like modulars, and I like the Juno layout. I like the Moog layouts. So like the hands-on. But they say things are so digital, but I see people trying to find ways to have those control structures even in a digital world.
Absolutely.
Like regardless. But I wanted to talk about before we get to the heart of your story, I always ask every guest what motivates them, and why do you do what you do?
Really curiosity motivates me, I think. I've always been fascinated by how things work, by how people work. And I think that drives me. Like I've always, like when I was a little kid, I would take things apart and study, like, what's in this thing? How is this made? Like how does this work? And I have to know. And then that just kind of carried forth through business. How does business work? How do people connect with business? How does sales work? How do all these things interconnect? And so I think curiosity is a big part of what keeps me going. I like learning about new things. I like learning about other people. And so I've got a really good, unique job now that allows me to kind of blend my entrepreneurial spirit and my curiosity and my fascination with new ideas and new people, and helping them bring them into existence. So it's a pretty cool job that I get to do now.
I think I'll just disclose that I've been into information technology since the 90s. I happen to work with tech that's related to insurance companies and banks.
Oh, nice.
Like PAS systems, policy admin systems, and stuff like that, and also data analytic platforms. So I've got my left-right brain going. I got a hand in actually software design that's not as exciting as actually doing software for music. I would love to do that, but I've done the banking side pays the bills so I can buy the Moog.
Yeah. Right. No, I understand, man. We've all had to do that, man. My grind is I've done everything. I've done everything from car sales to working at Jared selling jewelry. I mean, whatever sometimes you've gotta, and this is what I tell my kids too. You don't just jump to straight doing what you want to do. I mean, you can. Some people are lucky and fortunate enough to be able to do that, but sometimes you got to fund the dream. You know what I mean? Like you can be a starving artist, but I always took the route of like, I could be more effective at doing my art if I had, the resources to.
If I'm not a waiter, maybe I can actually afford to have a guitar.
Exactly. Now, some people take the opposite, the opposite path. Like my dad, he collected bottles and cans off the side of the road to get his guitar. But once he got that guitar, man, he didn't do nothing else for the whole rest of his life other than play that guitar. That was it. He didn't care.
That's the dream. Like that's my daughter. I got her. She's actually a graphic artist, and she's a working artist. So I got her to live the dream. She actually doing the dream. But
well, and my other buddy Jelly Roll, like, he had this massive success over the past few years, but like this dude, he was homeless. He lived in a van for many, many years, and he was willing to do that. He was willing to just sacrifice all the creature comforts and all the comforts of life to just do it. And there's a lot of stories that are like that. But me personally, I wasn't willing to do all that. I
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I need my bed at night. I need
Yeah, I
some
want
good
to have
food
a
to
house
eat.
that
You know
get
what I
the
mean?
mortgage that
Like,
ties you down, but you can't be like on the,
right.
you like
But I'm
Desolation
not.
Row with like Bit Dylan. Looking at
You got to define what success looks like for you. Like he's selling it. He was willing to do that. Hey, look, and he's selling out Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, it
I
depends on when you get there because, like, the starving artist mentality, the guys used to live in the Economy Line van going from gig to gig. Like, I was a big fan of, like, a Who's Do and the Replacements, the early
yeah,
REM when they were all kind of living in the college circuit. I'm a
yep,
child
yep,
of the '70s, and
right,
I was always I was always a big, like, "Oh, Velvet Underground, Big Star." Like, yeah, bands that never made it, that's
right.
cool.
Right. Well, it's some, and there's a lot of, for every jelly roll, there's like, 20, there's a thousands of artists
Didn't
who
make
put in the grind, they put in the time, they were willing to make the sacrifice, they were willing to live in the van, they were willing to do the thing, but they just
yeah.
didn't get there. You know what I mean? So, it's there's plenty of those stories too.
It's
You know,
cool, the kinda intersection of tech because, being a synth head, there was a time when, like, Robert Moog, tried to convince all the art school guys, all the guys from the, like, you know, all the people who were, like, the prudes of music when they saw the
right,
first Moogs, they were like, "That's not an instrument."
right. Oh
But then
man,
but then Sun Ra actually used it.
that's right. That's
Then
right.
Keith Emerson used it. Then they're like, "Oh, maybe it is an instrument."
Oh, dude, I got some stories. I got. We'll get into it in a little bit, man. But I got some stories like with Roger Lynn and everything. Like, the journey that I was on is crazy. We were actually talking about, me and the other two founders of the Beat Kangs. We're actually discussing turning this into a screenplay and doing kind of like a movie about it, because it's just such a wild, weird story. You know what I mean? It's got
Yeah.
it all: sex,
Yeah,
drugs, and rock and
how
roll,
did that
man.
story start then?
Well, so that, go back to the word curiosity, right? I would go into music equipment, this local music equipment store called Thoroughbred here in Nashville. I was 16 years old. I was still in high school, and I would play with all of the things that I could not afford to buy. And one day I was in there and I was like, messing around with the little drum machine, and the salesperson come up to me and he's like, um, are you a DJ? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a DJ. And if you keep in mind, I'm a 16-year-old. I have one little drum machine at home, a little Zoom Rhythm Track 234 at home. Never played a gig, never done anything. I'm rapping in my bedroom with my buddies. That's the extent of my experience at this point. And he's like, well, you're pretty good on those things. We need a DJ for the DJ room. And I'm like, you mean you would pay me to come in here and, like, yeah, he's like,
The stuff.
play with this stuff? I would, because I was like literally getting dropped off and doing this for free. Like, it was like a
Yeah.
privilege for me
Yeah,
to
like
get to
going to
play.
Guitar Center, that's why I used to
Yeah,
get
I get
in
to
there
play
and
with
stay
the
home.
gear, and you're gonna pay me to do this. And they hired me, and I just sat in the DJ room and made noise with all the little samplers. I had the Roland 808, the little
AOH,
TR
yeah.
808, the one
Yeah,
that you could
yeah.
put the little that had like the little theremin type of thing over the top,
Yeah, yeah.
the FP 808, and they had all the groove boxes. This is when the Electribes were out from
Oh, wow.
Korg. Like,
So
I had
dope.
all of this at the Emu products, the Ensoniq, like
Sonics.
ASR
Yeah, those
X's. So
were
I had all that shit, and
Core Gem ones and all that.
I had it all MIDI'd up and hooked up, and was like, I would just get in there and make these weird, like, endless jams out of all this stuff MIDI together. But the
That sounds like
customers were,
me, 'cause I've been playing with, like, CZ101s and D5s and
it was so much fun. I don't know if I've ever had more fun than that music equipment store job. And so I would wire all these things up and get them going. The customers would come in, I'd sell them the stuff because they finally could see what it did. Before, like, I started, it was just like kind of sitting in a corner, and
you actually integrated them all with MIDI and connected them all.
yeah, because I was just having fun doing the thing. And so they were like, oh, that's what it could do. Yeah, I'll take one. So we sold it. We would start selling stuff. So I did that. And then I did that for a couple of years. And then Sam Ash Music acquired
Mhm.
Thoroughbred and converted the Thoroughbred into a Sam Ash. And when that happened, the owner of Samson, Sammy and Richie Ash, came to visit Nashville to say, "Hey, you're not being fired. You're being grandfathered into Sam Ash. You're gonna just the name on the shirt's gonna change." And then they also brought Scott Goodman and Bob Caputo, who at the time were the CEO and vice president of Samson Technology, with them. And they said, you're going to see a lot of Samson products start showing up because that's our sister company. We own Samson, so that's our house brand. You're going to see speakers and mics and everything. Well, it turns out that Samson distributed a little company called Zoom, and Zoom made drum machines and samplers. Well, the first drum machine that I had was the Zoom Rhythm Track 234.
The same Zoom that makes like the live track recorders and all that?
Yeah, exactly. The same Zoom.
I use that stuff.
Yeah, it's good. They're good quality. It's a good little manufacturer out of based in Akihabara in Tokyo. And so so they distributed Zoom. They didn't own Zoom, but Samson distributed. So I didn't know it, but at the time Zoom had a little sample track. It was a sampler called the Sample Track 224, and there was a modulation wheel on it and a delay effect. And I discovered just through playing with this thing that I could load a vocal sample or load any sample, and I could put the delay and I could turn the feedback on the delay all the way up. And this little modulation wheel, it would say it was like a delay amount, like you could adjust the amount of delay, right? And so what it would do, if I moved it really fast, it would say delay, don't delay, delay, don't delay, like super, super fast. And it made like this like kind of sound.
It's like a scratching.
Because it was like trying to like delay, and then at the last second I was jerking it back, and so it was like and so if you move it real fast, it would sound like a record scratching. And this is before the CDJs. This is before the only thing you could basically scratch on at this point. This is like what?
The real
this was 1998, 99. So there wasn't digital scratching, wasn't really a thing.
You didn't have a CDJ to be able to emulate.
Yeah, there was none of that. So I was selling the hell out of these things because all the producers and all the kids and the bedroom producers were like, "Whoa, you can scratch. I can make that sound for my samples." So I was selling a ton of these, and the company Zoom didn't even know. They didn't intend for, like, they didn't. It was a defect in the machine.
It's like the 808. Well, it's like the Moog defect on a CP3 mixer. Like
exactly,
it was a defect, but it was actually cool.
It's a happy accident, right? And so I was selling a ton. They were like, "Well, you've got the top. You're selling more of these than anybody in the entire world, basically. What do you, how about, kid, we give you a job as our product specialist, and you go around to all the, music equipment stores and just show the other salespeople how to do what you just did so they could sell these things too." And I said, "Man, that is a hell of an idea. You're going to pay me." Now, once again, I'm like, "You're going to pay me to fly around?"
You're actually doing something you love that you experiment with, and you found like a little hot spot.
That's it.
Sweet spot. And then you're actually making money from your sweet spot.
Dude, it was fantastic. And so I started traveling around, and the more I traveled for Zoom, I did that for about 2 years. And then 9/11 happened, and I was in the air when that happened. I had to make an emergency landing in Dallas, got stranded in Dallas for a few days, couldn't get home. The whole world flipped upside down. So I was like, "Dude, I'm done with the road for now." Cause like nobody knew what was going to happen. I was like, "Dude, I got to get out of these airplanes. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I want to get home. I wanted to make some music. I wanted to, you have a girlfriend. I want to do things." And so I came back home. But the one thing that I noticed as I was traveling was that, everybody who was using these samplers and these drum machines, the majority of the sales were like bedroom hip hop producers. They were like, people who were wanting to do hip hop, but yet all these drum machines had like 5 hip hop kits in them, and like the rest were like rock drums and jazz drums. You know what I mean? Like if you go back and you buy the old Zooms, like the old Zoom drum machines and the old Roland drum machines or the old Elises, they all had like 99 rock kits and like
they were meant for, they thought rockers were going to use them,
right? And they had like 2 hip hop. They had like 1 808 kit and like 1 909 kit, and but then like 99 rock and jazz kits. And so I wrote a proposal to Zoom, and I said, "Hey, your main sales target is the bedroom hip hop producer, so we should make a drum machine that's like all hip hop drum."
Yeah, that's a refreshing idea.
Yeah, and they said, "Well, that's a great idea. we'll give you $10,000 for your idea if you'll produce it and do all the sounds and do all that and blah blah blah. And me and my two buddies at that time were doing a little production crew called the Beat Kangs, and they're like, and we're like, oh, 10, they're like, take it or leave it, and we're like, can you stamp our brand name on every single one? And they're like,
royalty? You get a royalty?
no, I didn't get a royalty. We didn't get squat. We got 10 grand to split three ways.
So it's like a,
but we got our brand name stamped on every single one. So we got the notoriety of it. And then that's when the Street Box was born. This little thing right here, the SB246 Street Box. It was a dedicated hip hop drum machine. You can still find them in the pawn shops. They don't make them anymore, but dude, we put some banging sounds. This was 2005, 2006 that this came out. And so we did that. Chuck D was our very first endorsement from Public Enemy. Chuck D picked one up and loved it, and he started using it. Johnny Juice, shout out to Johnny Juice from the Bomb Squad from Public Enemy.
So they were actually started using it. Bomb Squad.
Jermaine Dupri grabbed one. He started using it. The RZA grabbed one. The RZA produced the original Afro Samurai soundtrack on the
Afro Samurai on that.
Yes,
I know what that
on the Street Box. His kid bought one, and so we actually ended up going to meet RZA, and we hung out with him. We spent a whole day in his studio. Got way too stoned, by the way. That's a whole nother story. But and he told us the story of how he found the Street Box. Basically his kid bought it and started using it, making beats. And he was walking by his kid's bedroom, and he's like, "What's that? What is that you're doing? What is this?" And he went and he stole the Street Box from his son, and then he literally he used it on Afro Samurai. Yeah, and so they made like, I don't know, they made millions of dollars on the Street Box, and we made like $10,000. But we had our brand name stamped on every one. And so we started trying to figure out, like, all right, we need to make our own company. We need to make our own machine. We need to make our own thing. And so my dad said, he's an old Motown guy, guitar player. He had a friend named Mylan Bogdan, who was a big engineer here in Nashville, who knew another guy named Harry Hine, who was Shania Twain's, producer pre-Mutt Lang. And I'm like, how is this guy going to help me build a hip hop drum machine? And my dad's like, I don't know, but Mylan says you need to meet him. So I went and met with this guy. He's producing this like Christian opera, 12-year-old boy singing opera music. It was a weird whole thing. And I'm like showing him my hip hop drum machine in the Street Box. I'm like, I have no idea how this guy's going to help me. Well, turns out he was from Toronto, Harry Hine. He's passed away now. Rest in peace, Harry Hine. He was really good buddies with Bob Ezrin because they came up together. And so he said, I think I love your idea of a hip hop company that makes urban electronics. Let me introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Bob Ezrin. I Googled Bob, and I'm like, holy smokes. Yeah, this guy's he's like the god of rock and roll. And so I talked to Bob. Bob's like, yeah, I love the idea. Come out to LA. He was producing this band called Army of Anyone, which is the lead singer for Filter and the band from Stone Temple Pilots. And they had this new group called Army of Anyone. Bob was out there producing it. I go into the session. I pull out the Street Box. I do my thing on it. I show him. Bob's like, wow, that's really cool. And the singers and the band, they're like, we don't want one. We got to get one. And so Bob's like, I like you, kid. I think I'm going to help you. I'll help you do this. He was like, I'm not putting any money in, but I will let you leverage my name, and I will help you refine your business plan, and I'll finance you flying around, meeting with investors. I'll help you get some meetings. We then met with, CEO of Guitar Center. We met with, Bob had some juice, man. He knew everybody. We got a meeting with the CEO of Newmark and Akai, Jack O'Donnell.
Oh, wow.
And Jack came down. We said, we want to build a beat machine with glowing blue pads and with hip hop sounds in it, sort of like the Street Box, but different and better and cool and blah, 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 blah. And we actually got into a discussion with the Kai about building that. And they offered us $2 royalty on it. They said, we'll give you $2 royalty on it. And no money, and $5,000 up front for the programming. And that's it. And we said, dude, that's not going to work for us. We want more than $2. We're trying to like do a company and do a whole thing. And they're like, well, take it or leave it, kid. And we're like, yeah, we're gonna have to leave it. And so we didn't sign that deal. And then literally 2 years later, the XR20 came out, the little black dedicated hip hop drum machine that Akai put out, not the MPC. It was like
its own thing.
they basically took our idea and did it without
They
us.
did it without you because you
Yeah,
showed it
yeah.
to 'em.
So I've been salty with the Kai since then. They're pieces of shit. Jock O'Donnell's a piece of shit for that. But anyway, whatever. It didn't really go anywhere because it sounded cheesy. They didn't really have the juice in it. Like we did. The free box was like gritty and real, man. It was too glossy. It just didn't work. But anyway, I was working at a store called Mac Authority at the time as the general manager, just trying to keep the lights on, doing the day job, right, while we're doing the, pursuing the passion. And in walks a lady, and all my salespeople were busy, and so I helped her. I sold her a piece of photo editing software, and she turned out to be the wife of a big real estate tycoon named David Crabtree here out of Nashville. And he came in and said, you built this store? I said, yeah. He's like, do you own any of it? I'm like, no. He's like, well, you look like you're really successful here and the store's doing great and blah, 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 blah. You could build a store in any one of my shopping complexes. I'm the largest, real estate developer for commercial real estate in the Southeast. You could build an Apple store in any store you want. I politely declined. I said, no, that's not really what I'm trying to do. And he's like, well, what are you trying to do? I said, I'm trying to start, a hip hop electronics company and build a product line for urban music. He said, well, that's interesting. My son's in school for music and this and that and the other thing. You should meet me and my partners. Do you have a business plan? I said, yeah, I actually do have a business plan, and I'm working with Bob Ezrin and yada, yada. Right around that time, I was also working with Roger Lynn. Roger Lynn was interested in helping us and he had kind of was toying with the notion of coming out with a new drum machine. And so we were kind of collaborating on some ideas. So we all met, and they offered us $2 million to do our project and a significant equity stake. They're actually the controlling interest in the project. And they met with Bob and everybody, and they were like, wow, this could be a real thing. Roger backed out at the last second because he did not want to take the venture capital. He was like, I don't want to be on the hook for that kind of money. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's too much. Too much could go wrong. Good luck, blessings to you, but I'm out. And so Roger walked, but we were like, I'm in like 27 years old and there's like $2 million on the table and we're going for it. So we did, and we worked and we worked and we worked and we worked and we did it, and and then the Beat thing was born. Yeah, wow. And it was a portable. We had an app. We had the Beat thing virtual, so we had a computer app. We had the hardware. It was fully standalone.
What year is that?
This was 2011. This came out. 2 SD cards, MIDI in and out. Phantom power on the XLR combo jack, sampler, sequencer.
So you can mic into it? You can actually mic.
Oh yeah, dude! It had phantom power. Everything, it lit up. It was like,
oh wow!
It was like Tron. We had a grill on it, color LCD. So we were way ahead of our time. So this came out the same year as Native Instruments Machine, but Native Instruments Machine was just the controller. We had the controller and the software and everything. However, we didn't have funds for marketing. We didn't have a massive software development team. We had Art+Logic who was helping us develop everything, but we didn't have the funds for like a huge, massive, like $2 million doesn't go that far when you're doing hardware and software and manufacturing and trying to pay salaries and trying to do marketing and all that. But we got it done, and it won DJ Innovation Award of the Year. Dallas Austin picked it up, started using it. Rock Wilder started picking up and using it. And yeah, dude, it was a wild ass ride. I'm like skipping a bunch of parts, but yeah, it was in Best Buy. Was on the cover of Best Buy magazine. It was in Sam Ash, Guitar Center, everywhere for about 2 years, and then we got into a falling out with the investor. We wanted more money to keep going. The economy kind of, took a dive, and real estate, so they just didn't have any more money to allocate towards it. We couldn't get any more money outside, so we just ran out of Right. We couldn't. So we ran into that scenario. Like Will I Am held this thing up on American Idol. We sold out the next day, and it threw it all the Guitar Centers, the same meshes that had it. And so then it was going to be another, 3 or 4 months before we could reorder. So we spent our money to like, all right, now's our time. So we spent all the remaining cash we had on inventory to try to get the
Yeah,
inventory
the
over
inventory
here.
backup. Yeah.
And then we got the inventory over here, and then we had no more money for marketing.
Oh,
And
so
the
you had this
viral
inventory
moment
and
had
you
passed.
couldn't. Oh, so that's bad. So you had all this stuff, but you couldn't like push it.
So it was either we had the demand and no inventory, and then or we had the
The
inventory
inventory,
and
no,
no demand. And we didn't, this was our first time doing anything like this. And so we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were, we did good to just get a working, functioning machine that was
we got
amazing.
it out the door. You actually got it
We
to
did.
on
We
stage. You
did.
got like Will I Am showing it, so that's pretty good.
Rock Wilder loved it. He did out records on 50 Cent's project with it. Dallas did Will I Am was using it on the hardest ever. Will I Am single was produced with it. We had a lot. Teddy Riley flew me out to LA. Michael Jackson's last album was the Beat Things. The drums on Michael Jackson's last album were done on the Beat Thing. Teddy Riley flew me out there because he didn't want to read the instruction manual. He's like, I don't have time. I got to get this album out the door. How about I want to use this product? How about you come in and show me how to do the thing? And I did. And the album is a blessing. Teddy was fantastic. He was so talented and amazing. They were all were. Dallas was, Rock Wilder. I learned so much from all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then man, I left the music equipment industry and and did security at Honky Tonk Central on Broadway. Completely started over. I just lost everything. The house got foreclosed on, broke up with my ex. Life completely fell apart, and I had to completely start over from scratch.
But that's kind of like the life of like, the way the world goes is something like when you are an entrepreneur, not everything you put out there works.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you end up learning from your like, trials and tribulations because that's the way it flows.
Yeah. Well, and we were just so young and idealistic. We had this big vision of how we wanted this to go. We just completely disrupted. It was so like everybody's like, your marketing is crazy, and this, why would you call it a beat thing, and why would it have a freak button on it, and why would it do this? And it was like, because we wanted to, because we're just having fun doing this thing. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody expected us to try to kind of like march to the beat of some way it was supposed to be, and we were just like, dude, we're just some three dudes from Nashville who decided to make a beat
I
machine.
always like quirky instruments that were like, not standard. Like it's when somebody has an idea, right? It's just like, when somebody is like an artist and they do something that's like out of the mainstream, it's out of the box.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody wants to have the same, cat video.
Yeah, exactly.
Same freaking thing. But it's like, when somebody takes the risk to do something different, it stands out.
Right.
So when you have like, the 808 stands out because it was different.
Yeah. Well, it definitely
stands out because it was different. Didn't sell well. Then people found out they liked it.
Yeah, well, it's great. The crazy part is these things are now going like online. You can't even find. It's like a collector's item. They're going for more now than what they sold for back then.
It's like the history of these type of machines. Like when you make a machine, then suddenly people like jump on it. Sometimes the people who made the machine never made a lot of money.
No, we never.
Then the aftermarket dude that goes crazy for
them. The story of, the story of it all is worth more than will be ultimately probably how we'll make money is the screenplay from the journey of building this damn thing. Because when I tell you it was crazy, it was crazy. It was.
But the fact that you actually built it, because you got people who be like, you got Roland built like the 808. They're big corporations.
Yeah, we were just three scrappy dudes from Tennessee that.
And you got Lynn, Roger Lynn. You got the LM1, the LM2.
Yeah.
They did. But it's like, man. It's a totally crazy thing. And then they actually got involved with the NPCs. But it's like, that's
and I'm okay with Akai now. I've forgiven Akai, whatever. I have the MPC Live 2 right now. I'm thinking about getting the 3. I think they have perfected the drum machine, in my opinion. You
I
know,
use it to
even
cut
the
the force. I mean, I don't I use the force cut 'em a little different. I like the way that works, but that's me.
they completely ripped us off back in the day. However, objectively speaking, from a a beat machine connoisseur, like the MPC Live series, the new MPC OS and all that is really freaking good.
That's really
I have to
yeah,
give
it
them
is
hats off to those guys, man. They
for
really did a
rhythm
good job.
construction, it's great. I mean,
It's
I kinda
fantastic.
still lean toward, like, TR-1000, 808 type of stuff because that's just me.
You old school. I love it. I love
I don't know, there's something about the
that.
roll of the workflow
Yeah.
I can live with. I understand there's new workflows. I
They
can
tried
live
to
with
jump.
those.
Remember when they tried to jump in that game? They had a NPC kind of thing. What was that? I had it. I
They
bought
have
that
a couple of
thing.
things that were trying to be
It
like that,
had
but
the square pads and the whole
they're
thing.
not good at that. They're better at, like,
I think it was
doing
like the MV 880. I think is what
yeah,
it was.
something like that.
Something
But
like that.
they're
Mm.
better at, like, doing, like, 808, 909,
Yeah,
you
their
know?
groove boxes were fun, man. They
Yeah,
had
stuff
some
like
really
that.
cool stuff, dude. MC 307. I had a
Yeah,
lot of those kind
307,
of
yeah,
things. Yeah, yeah,
MC202 is a good tune, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. So I left the music industry, music equipment industry, dude. The drugs and the sex and everything tried to kill me, and everything was kind of falling apart with the venture capitalists. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do now? I was depressed. I was like, couch surfing, and my buddy said, get a job here, in Honky Tonk Central, and I was like, oh God, doing what? Security? They're like, yeah. And I had more fun doing that job. That was one of the most fun. It was like right when Nashville was taking off, country was starting to get cool. I
Mhm,
started doing security at Honky Tonk Central when they first opened, which is the big mega bar on Broadway. I did that for like a year and a half, and then my buddy, who I went to high school with, one of the people I was rapping in the bedroom with, you know what I'm saying, my dog Matt. Well, we just decided we was going to be rappers one day back in the day. Well, anyway, he grew up and got a big boy job working at a cloud company out of Columbus, Ohio, called e-commerce, and
mhm.
so he's like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, I'm doing security. He's like, you were like just the CEO of this international electronics company. Now you're doing security at a bar on Broadway in Nashville. What the hell are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure my life out. And he's like, come sell cloud with me up here in Columbus. So I went, got the job, worked remote, and I broke the company record in sales like 2 months later, not because I was particularly good at cloud tech, is because
Mhm.
I was I was selling on the benefits because I didn't know the tech, right? I was like, you want your email to work better, you want your website to load faster, buy this.
Oh,
Not,
so you're just
you
telling the
need a
benefits,
this
not
database
focused
and
on the
that
tech.
database,
Yeah. But sales, yeah, you were good at sales. You
Yeah.
had done sales from before.
So I worked at. He left the company. I ended up taking over as sales manager. I left that company, got acquired. I bounced around to a couple companies. I worked at a company called Kinetic Cloud. Had a really good run with them. We built a lot of the portals that distributed all of the rental and mortgage assistance funds during COVID. Helped a lot of people stay in their homes. Did a lot of great work with construction tech. They're still thriving, help them grow from a team of like 5 to a team of like 20, 30 people now. Left them, went to Project 202, which was an Israeli company that did like Disney Plus and the Tesla interactive showrooms and a bunch of cool little projects. They went under and went through some massive changes. I left them, went to work for another firm out of Detroit. Then the auto strike happened, and their main customers were like Ford, Honda, and Bosch. And so I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? Then me and Paul, the CEO of Art+Logic, we'd stayed in touch because they're the ones that did all the software for the Beat thing back
Yeah.
in BK. So, I spent like, $1.5 million with these guys. So, they were fans of me, right? And so he's like, why don't you just you know what we do, and you've got experience selling software now and doing this, so why don't you come here? And so I've been here now for a couple years and am loving it every minute of it. It's such a cool software company to work for. I get to work for on all kinds of different projects and musical projects,
Oh, so
and
you're still doing
now
musical projects within this?
still, oh yeah, Art+Logic still does a lot of music tech. We do a lot of music tech, a lot of AI tech.
Is it like synth or drum machine or like
A
groove
little
box?
bit of everything. It's, some of the stuff I can't talk about, of course, because it's, it's top secret and under NDAs and all that. But yeah, working on some really innovative tech in the music space still, Art+Logic is. But we're branching out to, logistics, warehouse, manufacturing, all different types of stuff.
Oh, all kinds of stuff.
Um, and a lot of AI, different AI enabled technologies. But we've started to get a lot of entrepreneurs coming to us who are wanting to take their ideas and turn them into businesses, but they don't quite know where to start and how to get their MVPs built and what the roadmap needs to be and all that. And so
We help with that
we
consulting.
did. Yeah, we did. Well, we helped a couple, like, so I had a founder come to me last year with an idea, but it was kind of like halfway formed. It wasn't all the way together. We helped him refine his idea, get his pitch deck done, get his website done, get his MVP roadmap done, build a clickable prototype, get all of his ducks in a row, get his brand together. And he went out and raised nearly $1 million, like $800,000 to build his MVP. From a $20,000 investment with us to $800,000 investment with a venture capital firm. And so, like, after that, we're like, that's a pretty cool thing that we just did. We
So you
should
want
do.
to do that more, so that's what like part of your business model is.
Yeah. So that's where the Venture Forge came from. We're like, let's kind of bottle that and let's turn that into a program to where founders can come and bring their ideas in whatever state they're in. We'll apply our expertise. I'll apply, listen, I failed plenty of times trying to be an entrepreneur.
We got to fail upward in tech. Everybody talks about failing upward. So
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's taking the tech expertise that we have as a firm, my entrepreneurial expertise in what to do and what not to do, and kind of marrying that together in a program that helps founders get to, from idea to an actual minimum viable product that's in the marketplace that they can go and be successful with. And we're really excited about that. And me personally, like, I'm excited about that because I love the thought of helping other people bring their ideas to life. You know what I mean? Like, that's rewarding and fun,
I think it's cool to be like, pay it forward. Like if when you learn something in life, if you can share it, like what your experience is there, you're sharing it on the show. It's kind of what we do on the podcast is that we take people's experiences, and a lot of times people go through life and it's not all like roses.
Oh no, man.
The story that actually is more impactful is not that I just woke up and I'm a millionaire.
Right. No,
The story is
absolutely.
like I actually went through these steps, maybe had some hardships, then learned something, and then I applied that, and now I'm actually telling other people how I did it.
Yo, 100%. Well, failure is always your best teacher. You know what I mean? You learn those hard lessons, man. And I learned so much from doing BKE Tech and doing the Beat Thing and making Beat Thing virtual. What to do, what not to do. I mean, I'm proud of myself that we got it done, and a lot of people used it and loved it. We had so many people who hated on us for it, but they never even really tried it, right? They just hated the name and whatever. But I couldn't worry about that, man. We did the best that we could do with the resources we had, and we had a wild ride. We had a lot of fun doing it. And now, I want to give the benefit of that experience that I had doing that, and and through other projects that I've been involved with through these, working with these tech companies and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't, and just allow people to use that to get to where they're trying to go. And I love hearing about these new ideas and people's ideas, and really the advice I have for founders and people with new ideas is like, just get going, just start doing it. You don't have to have it all figured out.
It's like any artist. Like if you deal with an artist, like the painter, and you go to their loft, and they got all these awesome paintings, and you ask them like, "Are you? Is this in the gallery? Oh, it's not ready."
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you at some point you got to make the choice that you are ready.
Yeah, right.
And it's got to go in the galleries. Like you got to get it out of the loft and on the
Exactly.
street. You got
Absolutely.
to do that. You did that. You actually had an idea
Yep.
and you got it into physical form.
Yeah, you got to be
That's the
willing to
thing.
fail, man. You got to be willing to be. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to not be enough. You got to be willing to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to take a chance, knowing that most likely you will fail, right? But
Yeah,
from
quite
that
likely.
failure, you can build success, right? Like you stand on top of the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until
Yeah,
you
it's
get
like
where you're trying to go.
you can't do anything without breaking some eggs, you know, like, if you're a musician,
That's
you
it.
know how many demos you got sitting around,
That's it, man.
you know,
Well,
you
I love that video. Have you seen Post Malone's like first music video or something? It's terrible. It's awful. It's
but
like,
anything you do the first time you play it, but if your first time you play like a sax,
yeah,
nobody wants to hear you.
yeah, it's terrible,
Like,
right?
you're not Coltrane, right? You're not
No,
gonna get, but you have to get to that level, right?
yeah, you
But the
got to get
person
out
that
there
actually
doing it,
sticks
man.
with it, does the 20,000 hours, then
Thousand
eventually,
percent.
like, wow, that actually sounds good. But it's
Yeah.
like the first time you don't sound good.
My son tried to play sax. No, it was clarinet. He tried to play clarinet for about a half a year, and that was
It's
a rough
tough.
6 months,
But,
man.
the winds are like a thing, like, you have to be into the winds. If you're
Yeah.
not into it, it's not gonna be into you.
Yeah, that one didn't last long. That one didn't last long, you know. Shout out to Isaiah on the clarinet, but nah, it didn't. That clarinet didn't. I was thrilled when he put it down. I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't think it's for me." I'm like, "Yes, all right. Well, that's your decision, but
It's
yes,
interesting to, like, you came from, like, hardware, and everything today is, like, software and
yeah,
AI,
yeah,
and I still think there's an intersection because I've seen, people playing with, like, Raspberry Pi hardware,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
people playing with AI chips and putting them in hardware, right?
yeah."
And not everything being software, but, like, where do you think the tech's going? Is it going
So,
away from hardware
nah, I
or
mean,
going into just all software, all cloud, all AI?
so I mean, AI is listen, I know a lot of people hate on Suno and all that, but to me, when I first touched it and started messing with it, I was like, dang, this is like wizardry. This is I'm fascinated by how it can do this and how it can sound so good. But the problem is that everybody using the same thing, all the singers sound the same, all the stuff sounds the
Yeah,
same, and
that's the
we're
problem.
starting to reach that. At the beginning of it, it was like, wow, look at all these, I can make a song like this. But now it's like, you can hear the vocal and you're like, nah,
You know what it is.
that's
But
Suno.
that's
Yeah,
the
it's
thing
like,
where the magic comes in.
you
Like,
know,
I have hardware, like, I have, like a Roland VT4,
yeah. Well,
VT3s, right? They're
well,
voice transformers.
oh
Like, if
yeah,
you
those are
play
cool.
with voice coders or voice transformers or vocal synthesizers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
No,
then you integrate it with AI tech, right?
well,
And
there's
you
a way to
actually sit
use
there
both.
and play with that voice, you can change the voice.
Yeah, facts. Right. So, I mean, so I'm not saying that I'm out on AI, but I will say I've enjoyed tinkering with Suno and bringing my ideas to life, but it's still not the same as sitting down with a piece of hardware like an MPC or a Beat Thing or a Roland Phantom and putting on your headphones and like getting
Yeah.
lost in the machine and like
Yeah, and
exploring
look,
and
there's
doing the
nothing
thing.
like
It's like
sitting at like a Juno or
dude,
like a Prophet 5
it's just a
or an
different
OB8.
feeling, you
Yeah, if
know?
you're sitting on an OB8 and you put the chords together,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you will kick ass.
So I miss that. So I think there's a whole generation that just missed that like just hasn't had a chance to like explore the hardware side of things. And so I think we may have a renaissance,
I think
hopefully,
there is a
in
renaissance. It's
hardware,
kinda like the vinyl
you know.
renaissance. You
Yeah,
got
you
like my
know,
daughter's 25 and she
you
wants
know.
everything on vinyl,
Yeah, right,
right? And
right.
they're going back and listening to the Funkadelic, you're going and listening to like all these old bands from the 70s, late 60s,
Yeah.
and saying, like, how come this song is like 10 minutes? How
Well,
come this song is like 8 minutes long? And then they're starting to realize like we're getting shortchanged with all these 2 minute like playlist songs.
that's it. Well, and my son hit me to something. He said, and I learned this from him. I was like, wow, look at all the stuff you can do with AI and this and that. And he's like, yeah, dad, I'm not really into AI. And I'm like, well, why? You could do so much. Look at all these things you could do, with the business and with art and with this and that and even music and stuff. You just got to embrace it. And he's like, yeah, but dad, you're missing the point. He's like, you got the benefit of having the time to get good at something and play with all these tools and learn a craft and apprentice and go through the steps. I don't want to skip the being
Yeah,
bad
skipping that.
part.
Yeah,
I don't
skipping.
want
That's
to
I think that's the big problem.
I don't want to
AI is a big.
skip, like I don't want to skip right to it being good. Like I want to go through. I want to have
That's
the
the
same
artistic
ability that you
process.
guys had, right?
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
people
but
forgot the process of an artist
yeah,
is that not to skip to the product. The process is you do 100 demos.
right,
The
yeah,
process is you're in rehearsal doing as an actor,
right,
doing that hard work, right? You're a
right,
dancer, nobody sees you. You're doing how many hours to get that ballerina thing going, to
yeah,
get that modern dance going. It's all the work that people don't see
hundred
that's
percent,
actually critical to building up your artistic repository, your repertoire.
absolutely,
And if you just
absolutely.
jump with these tools, you're missing what we call the heart or the soul.
Agreed, agreed. And I did not. And once he put it like that, I was like, I get why the younger generation would not want to embrace that because they want to have that journey. They want to become good at being a photographer. They want to become good at being an animator. They want to become good at, whatever that craft is that they can have the time to, fail and be terrible and then get better and better and have the rewards as you get better and better and be proud of the work you did. But then I said to him this. I said, I understand your perspective. And I get that, and that's very valid. However, I don't have as much time as you have
Yeah, well,
anymore.
you're in a different
You know what I
situation.
mean? Like, so at this point, like, I would love to make a movie, but I don't have the years to become an animator. So I'm going to use the AI, different things, because I don't have 15 years to dedicate to becoming an anime. I just don't have it. I don't have that kind of time to sit down and
Well,
do that.
it's a
And
cool
so,
place like the blue sky. Like if you got some ideas
right,
and
right.
you're not the best animation, you're not the best illustrator, you're not the best songwriter, it can help you in that way. But the problem, I think, is like you said, the sameness of the voice kind of
Yeah.
kills you. And the
Yep.
thing is about music, it's your secret sauce. It's
Right.
like it's Dylan's voice that's the thing, right? It's
Right.
Springsteen's
Absolutely.
voice, it's Liz Phair's voice. It's these
That's it.
artists, like their individual voice. So what the people missing the boat is like, yeah, of course you could get the song structure, but
Mhm.
you understand that to be an artist is your unique human
And
voice is
1000%. And
what makes
you're
the art.
it's too perfect. It's too good. And AI is like perfect, perfect a lot of the times, and it sounds too perfect. And a
That's
lot
the
of the
problem.
best
Like, does
music
any
is
music that
like,
was ever good actually not have mistakes in it?
yeah, exactly. Right.
Most of the great music that was recorded from the anytime somebody puts something on vinyl or tape actually has errors. And I was listening to
Yeah.
something from like, Something Anything from Todd
Yeah.
Rundgren. And
Right.
he has
Right.
a whole situation talking about in that record about the recording errors.
Yeah. That's the
Like
character.
in the character of the recording errors, Hello It's Me actually has a false start.
Wow.
Like that song, if you listen to it on the record, it actually has a false
Hmm.
start and it's kept in the song that was the number one song.
Wow.
But today people wouldn't even think of having something like that in a song.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and we're getting to the point where I feel like music has been pasteurized and homogenized a little too much. And so I think that there's a renaissance happening with that too. The people wanting to get back to the real. So yeah, I mean you can see the rebellion happening in real time,
People are
like
picking up guitars, they're
yeah,
picking up synths, they're going back and they're buying Moogs.
yeah.
And why would you buy a Moog when you can have a soft synth?
I know.
Well,
I know.
because you buy a Moog because of the way the Moog sounds.
That's right. Yeah, you can't recreate it, man. You can't. All the plug-in emulators, it's very difficult to emulate the real thing. It's the
Yeah,
same
I mean,
thing.
if
That's
you
why I
say
bought this. I've got this Universal Audio 6176 because I mean, yeah, I've got it in. I've got the plug-in version of that. I've got a
the real mic is
U87
the real
mic
thing.
modeler, but it doesn't sound the same. It just
Yeah,
doesn't.
like any of the great mics, there's a
It doesn't
reason
sound
why
the
you
same.
pay a lot of money for those mics.
Right. Yeah.
Because like it's just like when you have a mini Moog. Like if you have a mini Moog bass, you've got that, Bernie Worrell sound.
Yep.
And
That's
no
it.
matter what plugin you get, you're not getting that if you don't have the mini
No,
Moog.
you're not gonna get the analog. You're not gonna get that analog warmth from it at all. Yeah.
It just doesn't have the CP3. It doesn't have the tech that was in there. That tech is very specific. Bob Moog, he built it to be very specific, and it's its own thing. And that's the thing I say with every human voice. is as specific as that CP3. You
Absolutely.
know,
100%. 100%. We are all walking instruments for sure. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's good to meet a fellow gearhead, man. That's awesome.
yeah. Well, gear is.
We gotta
I
get a
love
jam
gear.
session going on sometime, my man. Yeah.
I think kids, like, if you get lost in the gear, people say, "Well, how productive is that?" I think it's very productive. It's very productive for you to sit down and get lost in something that you're passionate about instead of
100%.
trying to make something that the algorithm's gonna like.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah.
make something that you like?
Oh, 1,000%. That's Rick Rubin's whole mantra, right? Like you never a hit song never comes out of trying to figure out what people want. It has to come from what you like and what you do, and it just so happens to be a hit song, right?
Yeah,
Like
that
it's
just happens to
you know,
be like the law of attraction that you happen to be in the
yeah,
right moment, in the right
yeah.
time, and the world is on your bandwidth.
That's it. That's everything. That's it.
And that's what happens like in your life when you're on a path. Somehow you get to these pivotal moments and you're in the right place, the right time, right, the right people, and then it happens. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's brief. Like you had a situation, you were on the up, and then it goes, like a
It
wave,
was
it
a
starts
great
going on
it
the
was a
down.
great run, but the thing that I come to realize through it all is, we all when we're younger, we kind of have this thought of like, I'm gonna reach this destination and then I'll be successful. And then I will have got to the top of the mountain and then I will be there and then I can be happy.
You cruise in the
And
clouds.
but really, to be honest with you, it's like it's the journey. It's not the destination that matters. It's the walk towards it. It's the
And as long as
journey.
you're around, there's still more journey.
That's
And I
it,
think that's the problem. People think they're gonna get to that thing and they're gonna stay in the clouds.
No,
You're
man.
actually gonna have to still journey.
Yeah, it's the journey, man. Yeah, and you gotta decide to be happy on your journey wherever you are. It's like if it was too easy, if any of this was so easy, would it be any fun, really? Like,
Well,
you know what I
nothing.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I think if you're trying to be an expert at everything, how could you be an expert at everything?
yeah, well, not only that, it's like if you turned on a video game, imagine you turn on a video game and it's like as soon as you turn on, you're like, "Congratulations, you won."
You won the whole
Like,
thing. Like you didn't have to put any time
like,
into Final Fantasy VII. You didn't
yeah,
have to
you
find
really
any of the secrets.
that
You didn't
wouldn't
have
be
to
any
find any of
fun.
any of the power up, any of that stuff. You didn't have to really work hard to get it.
That's it. And
They just gave it to you.
that's why I think, wealthy people are some of the most unhappy people sometimes just because they've been handed everything. They didn't have to struggle. And, it's like I kind of feel bad for them. I know it's weird to say because you're like, wow, you got bajillions of dollars, but it's like,
But
why
they don't
should you
seem to
feel
be happy because then they're always trying to get to the next thing and to make everybody else unhappy.
yeah, it's like what you didn't have to struggle to get anything, and the struggle is the fun part. Like a lot of times, and I know it doesn't seem fun when you're in the middle of it and
No,
you
it's
don't
not.
have food to eat and you don't have to go through it, but like when you have those obstacles in your way and you figure out a way to get through them, you look back on it later in life, you're like, okay, I see this. I can appreciate where I'm at now because of the struggle I had to go through to get there. And
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
it takes the work. Like you can't. There has to be a level of mastery.
Yeah,
Every writer I've ever talked to, from the minute they started going from a diary to actually trying to write like a novel,
yeah,
and they made the choice that they were going to build that world, they were going to build the characters. It's a choice, and then a writer has to spend a lot of time by themselves.
yeah.
Right, a lot writer spends a lot of time actually observing the world and actually observing themselves, and then
Right,
finding a way to weave that into something that's actually going to be understandable or relatable. But a lot of that effort is totally outside the public view.
right. Yeah,
I
most
mean,
people don't see the work. They
and it's
just
the same thing with most artists or even entrepreneurs. You do all this work and nobody sees it until you're ready to push it. They don't know all the steps, and everybody thinks today it's just 0 to 100 in 5 seconds.
nah, man.
And
You gotta be
nothing's like that.
nah, you gotta be willing to put in the grind. You gotta be willing to, kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the conversation. Like you first, I suggest defining what success looks like for you too, right? Like where are you trying to and what are you willing to do in order to achieve it, right? You don't have to be president of the United States. If you don't want to be, you can be if that's what you decide to do.
If you want,
You
that's pressure.
you can be selling out Madison Square Garden if you want to try to do that. Go for it. But that doesn't have to be. You know, it's not like this whole thing. Like, hey, it could be. Look, I got the lights on and a roof over my head and hot meals and a wife who loves me and a couple beautiful kids, and that's what success looks like for me, and that's okay too. You know what I mean? Like, if you can figure out early in life what success looks like for you and be willing to like be okay with the journey that you have to take to get there, then you know, like you're ahead of the game. Because you know, I do believe in that. Like I believe it's trying to set a course, man, so you have a destination to walk to or towards at least.
You have to also realize, I think if people got to realize, is like just because you can meet, like you don't have to go from 0 to 100. You can have little wins.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we're in an all or nothing world.
Yeah, it feels like that's it. Like, oh, I've got to have a Ferrari or I'm not successful. Well, okay.
Like you don't have, like you can do it like piece by piece.
Absolutely.
And then you know what somebody thinks is a failure is not. Right? It's all
Yeah,
relative.
absolutely.
Like you have to like stop competing with the Joneses.
Absolutely.
You know, start saying like a win for me is now a win for you. Like how I
Right.
measure my win might not be the same way you measure your win. Every win could be individual.
1000%. I guess that's a more eloquent way. You put it a little bit more eloquently than I did, but that's essentially it. It's like you have to define what success looks like for you, not compared to somebody else that you don't even know online in social media, right? Like,
Yeah, because
what
a
does
lot of
it
what they
mean
have
for
is probably
you?
photoshopped anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pretending to be happy too. They're pretending to be happy. Most
They
of
put the
them. So
Photoshop smile on. They had to force it in. You know, it's like they don't even have a smile. They had to re-edit.
that's it. That's it. Man.
I
I'm
want to thank
curious.
you for being here, man. We got your QR code for artandlogicbf.com so people can scan that. It's been up for a while, but if you take your phone and scan that, it'll go there. If people go there, what do they find?
Well, they're gonna find me, willing to help them with their ideas and bringing their visions to life. You know, they're gonna find a firm that's been around since 1991, has a track record of delivering successful products for some of the world's biggest companies and some of the most successful entrepreneurs. And you know, all we ask is that you come with an open mind and come with your big ideas, and you know, we want to hear them. We want to hear what everybody's, you know, where they're trying to go, and where they're ready to try to help them put it all together and get kind of roll up our sleeves and get in the trenches and see what we can put together.
Get their pitch decks all tightened up and
The
then get
whole
them out
thing.
there in the world.
We're a big fan of, you know, we could go out there and try to like hunt down all the big brands and try to get them to talk to us. We do plenty of work with big brands, but we're trying to grow our own customers at this point, if that makes sense. Like we would rather take somebody with a really great idea, help them go get the funding, help them get ready for it. So then when they have the funding, and then they come back to us and then we help them develop the product because they're funded, right? Like, so that's kind of the mission of Venture Forward, just to kind of grow that next generation of entrepreneurs and founders up to a level to where they become the next big company. And then now we're working with the next big company because we help them get to become that. You know what I mean?
That's an investment in the future, which is
Thousand
cool because
percent.
I think, you know, ideas are the future.
That's it.
Anybody helping ideas not get pushed down, but get built up from the ground,
That's it.
that's always good.
Yeah. So bring it on, man. If you're out there listening to this and you got a wild idea, and you just don't know where to go or what to do with it, scan that QR code and come talk to us. We want to hear you. We want to hear what you're up to.
Yeah, I let people know the Art and Logic. The URL will be clickable. We've been live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick. We will be on all the other major platforms like Spotify, VO Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Facebook by the end of the day tomorrow. I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Fantastic, man. Well, thank you for having me, man. And cool name. Like, where did you come up? I've got to know
Yeah,
before we.
well, Family Electric Ghost is my band.
Oh, nice.
And it's been my band since 2008. And then when I became a podcaster 2016, I said, let's keep the same name for the podcast.
I dig it.
So I decided just to keep the same name. So I keep the same vibe with the people who already knew I was doing it. But yeah, it's been kind of useful because I still do the music, and you know, it kind of goes back and forth. I get opportunities to work with other musicians. I get opportunities to work with creative people, and do the podcast and do the music. So thanks.
We'll dig it, man. You're a fantastic host, and I'm gonna go check out the music like post haste immediately.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too, my brother.